Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Mint Personal Growth Lab. Mint is a leading business publication from Hindustan Times, one of India's most respected news publishing houses. At Mint, we're committed to supporting your quest for growth. Our credo and tagline is Think Ahead, Think Growth. The Mint Personal Growth Labs is a series of conversations with growth experts and coaches to help you ignite your personal journeys of growth. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Anand Sharma, executive and leadership coach, who's going to be our coach for this series. Welcome, Anand. Anand joins us from London.
Thank you very much, Anuradha, for having me once again. Uh, Good evening to all the viewers, or good afternoon, or good morning, depending upon which country you are in. So I'm looking forward to our stimulating conversation today.
Just a reminder, if you're joining us from Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, please do put down your questions in the comment section. Anand would be very happy to answer any personal struggles that you're facing, any specific things that you want him to shine a light on. We'll jump right into our topic for today. And our topic for today is no option but to grow. Anand, when you put this topic down for us, that this is the question that this is the topic that you'd like to discuss today, it set me thinking that, there is a lot of pressure a lot of us have. And through this pandemic, we've been seeing, there's a lot of self induced or social pressure that we must make the most of it. Is this another one of those things? Is this a pressure that, we have no choice but to grow? If we are to make anything of our careers, of our lives, if we have to succeed, is this another one of those things? Is this a pressure to grow?
I think that's a very insightful question, Anuradha, you have asked, because uh, let me clarify. When I conceived this title for this talk, what was at the back of my mind? It was basically a rhetoric title. And we know it's the rhetoric point is that I wanted to really emphasize the point that we need to grow. The reason is when we say there's no option but to grow, instead of it as a pressure, it is an opportunity. And that is a distinction, to be honest, between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, what we talked last time in our first session. And I'm going to keep referring about this fixed mindset and the growth mindset throughout the series, because that is where is the fountainhead of all the ideas of growth. So this lady, Professor and Dr. Carol Dwyer, who is a professor of psychology at the Stanford University, she is the one who actually coined this terminology of fixed mindset versus growth mindset based on her research. And she researched it because she's a professor among the students.
Mm-hmm.
And what she discovered was those students who believed that they have a limited intelligence, or the intelligence they are born with. They have a talent which they were born with, and now you have to just cope up with what you have got, the hand which has been given to you. So those are the people they think they have a limited or whatever the capacity they have born with. So they are the people who are called the people with the fixed mindset. Their belief is, now that is an important word, their belief is with effort, determination, strategies, thinking, encouragement, they cannot go beyond from the place where they are. And when those people were given a challenge in the class, whether it was a mathematical challenge or some other challenge, they felt pressured. I'm coming back to the question you have asked. They felt pressured. They felt, oh, it is I don't have it in myself, and therefore I cannot learn and grow. And contrary to the other people who had a growth mindset, Those people felt it is an opportunity. Every challenge, every difficult time is an opportunity, and they said we thrive in challenges. That is their belief system. And when I say belief, let me clarify, the ones who believe that they cannot learn, grow, and thrive in life, or cannot improve their capabilities, their intelligence, those are the people who feel stress and anxiety, versus the one who feel that they can thrive and grow. And research proved in the students, among thousands of students, this is as per Carol, and in fact, she could be heard on TED Talk as well. The ones who believed that they can grow, they had 3 times better success in the class. 3 times. And when their lives were monitored for years later on, because originally this concept was published in 2006, uh, those people who believed that they can grow, they were doing much better than the ones who thought or who believed that they cannot grow. So the question is not of feeling the pressure. It was more a rhetorical headline that there is no option but to grow, to highlight the point that this is an opportunity. Because the truth is, with COVID and post COVID, future has already happened. If we learn to grow along with the changing time, because time is changing all the time, the world is changing all the time. If we don't grow, we can't even stand still. We are going to decline. So that is the basically the concept behind this the point. There's no option but to grow, because the option is not to grow, and then that will lead to not that kind of success, and more important, not outward success, but those people tend to be more anxious, more stressful, more upset, and they don't succeed internally inside themselves, as well as outside in the jobs, in the companies, as entrepreneurs, etc., compared to the ones who take it on the chin and say, "Let me see what can I do about it." I hope it answers your question a bit.
So what is this? So what do we do with this concept then? Okay, having understood that we really don't have a choice but to grow, and you're saying if we were to approach it with an open mindset and believe that we can grow, then we would not see this as a pressure. In fact, we would see it as an opportunity. Then what? Then where do we go from there? And how do we harness the power of this phrase or this rhetoric to say that I have no choice but to grow? But then what do I do with it? How do I use this phrase to energize myself to grow?
I think wonderful questions, and there are many sub questions in your comments, and I like all of them because that gives me something to think about. I think most important is not that whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. It's helpful because it's self awareness, know thyself. But more important is the realization that all of us, and I mean all of us, have the capacity to grow. All of us have got the capacity to grow. And the moment when you say, "What do you do with this?" The moment you let go of the limiting belief or the false belief that I cannot learn XYZ thing, I can't be good with numbers. I can't be good in finance if you're working in a company. I'm a marketeer, but I can't be very good in financial ratios, as an example. Letting go of that false limiting belief, which may be conscious or it might be unconscious, that unleashes the power, that unleashes the purpose of life, that creates passion, because then you are not for example, swimming in the swimming pool or in the ocean with a big stone tied to your ankles. You're swimming freely. Magic will happen. Then you become curious. Then you look for resources inside of yourself. You look for resources outside of yourself. So the magic starts to happen the moment you become aware, the conscious, that this was my limiting belief. And what I'm saying is not some mumbo jumbo. It is
Mm-hmm.
born by it is underlined by the work which has been done by the neuroscientists. In fact, the study I was talking to you about from Dr. Carroll, they uh, did the visual imaging of the brains of the people who had a fixed mindset and the imaging of the brains of the ones who had a growth mindset. And they found that in the minds of the people who had a growth mindset, who believed that they can learn with effort, strategizing, determination, the activity in the brain of those people was much, much higher. Actually, if you listen to the TED talk, and viewers, I will encourage you to listen to her TED talk, you can actually see the actual images. One is properly lit up, the other one is as if it is a blank. So this these technologies were not available 20 years ago. 20 years ago, even neuroscientists used to say, we all as adults were fed this knowledge that you can't teach an old dog new tricks,
Right.
right? So
Right.
therefore, people said, now I'm too old, I can't learn because this was my talent. That person is very talented. I
Right.
can't learn this. But that is myth which neuroscientists have thrown out of the window. We were fed this, and there are books available, right brain and left brain.
Right.
Again, that is a myth. I'm not saying it. Neuroscientists are saying. I'm a student of applied neuroscience. I have attended many, many courses. My teacher, my mentor, my friend is Professor Patricia Riddle from Reading University. Uh, she tells me it's a myth. Oh, he's a left brain person and then she's a right brain person. No, it's one system. One
Mm-hmm.
system cannot work without the other system. There are many systems working in our brain. It's not that you can shut down the left brain of the person and person will still remain creative through the right brain. How ludicrous is that? That as if we need only half the brain. No, we need the whole brain, the whole system. It's a one entire system. One slight change, damage to one part of the system affects the entire system. And similarly, growth in one part of the brain impacts the activity in every other part of the brain. So therefore, everything goes up. So coming back to the specific question that what do you do with this? You have to do nothing. Just let go of that belief, that limiting belief that I cannot learn now. That does not mean some people have more talent when they're born, but studies after studies have proven that with more effort in the direction that you want to go into, you can become excellent in that area. In fact, there is a book I read a long time ago, The Outliers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll encourage viewers to read it if possible. It basically studied the most successful people in the world, like Beatles, and what they found is those people who spent 10,000 hours in their lives on learning whatever they were doing, not learning, doing, learning and doing, learning and doing in action, they became the masters of the masters. And if you read, and they have given a chapter on Beatles, and there is a chapter on other, I think there are 15 such people. It's wonderful to know that all those people have achieved whatever they have achieved. Darwin, for example, in the school was marked as a student, very ordinary student, and rest is history. So we all have this capacity to learn, to grow, to challenge ourselves and embrace challenge, celebrate challenge. And that is the moment we say, okay, I'm going to embrace challenge. I'm going to, I asked, I gave a growth hack last time, ask different questions, change your question, change your life. So what do you do with this? Ask yourself questions, and you shall be surprised at the answers which your inner self will give it to you, and the magic will happen.
Anand, you make it sound like, anything is possible for all of us. We can actually excel in any field that we set our minds to. You mentioned this concept of 10,000 hours of practicing and learning and doing. How does one keep one's focus then on? There are so many things that are vying for our attention. There's not one thing. There are many, many things that are vying for our attention. How does one then stay focused on one thing? Is it important to stay focused on one thing in order to grow? Or is it okay to have many things vying for our attention and still grow?
I think it's an incredibly important question. Absolutely fantastic question. Uh, the first premise is yes, you can grow in any area you choose to, but there are millions of areas. For example, I have chosen not to become a brain surgeon anymore because the time is gone. I'm not going to be a brain surgeon, but I have decided to learn that how to use my brain better. And I'm trying, I have done in the last 10 years or so many courses in applied neuroscience, NLP. I did masters of NLP from the co-creator of NLP, Dr. Richard Bandler. I did it from Robert Dilts, who was his colleague. I've done many courses in coaching. For example, for the last 2 3 years, you open any magazine, any LinkedIn page, WhatsApp, everybody's talking about oh, machine learning, blockchain, artificial intelligence, big data. People are saying uh, oil is no more gold. Now it is a big data which is gold. So here I am, 65 years old person. I was doing whatever I was doing in my corporate life. I still am a board director of few companies. I thought, I don't know what is this big data and what is this artificial intelligence and what is this blockchain and what is this fintech, because those were not the words or concepts which were there when I was doing a full-time job. So I said, what can I do about it? I did the research. I found this course at Cambridge University, senior management program at Cambridge University. Last month, I completed 1 year program with them. And now I do know what is big data. I do know artificial intelligence. I do know fintech, blockchain, strategy. And hardly had I finished the course, I was invited to be the senior advisor of a digital healthcare company which specializes in artificial intelligence. The point I'm
Anand,
making is I chose because I thought I'm a business a person, I'm a coach, I need to learn that. So, coming to your specific question, how do you do that? I was taught this mantra many years ago when I was in my 20s, starting my career, by one of my bosses and my mentor. He said, first thing first, second thing never. And the moment you finish the first thing, second thing becomes the first thing, and so on and so forth. So, therefore, I have followed, try to follow that mantra first thing first, second thing never. And comes back to, I circle back to the point I made last time. Ask yourself, what really do you want? Chahte kya ho? What do you really want? And what do you really want badly?
mm-hmm.
What really matters to you? Because what matters to you might be different to what matters to me. And there are 7.5 billion people on this planet Earth. The map of the mind of every person is as diverse as the fingerprints of each individual human being. Everybody's brain, everybody's map of the brain is different, actually microscopically. And that is the reason the thoughts, perceptions, views, experiences, values, beliefs, principles, the way we see the things, the way we hear things from the same stimulus. You and I are hearing the same thing, or people are hearing at this moment me, but everybody's take will be different. Something will land with them, something will not land with them. So, therefore, everybody has to find their own their own uh, thing, their own vision of their life, and therefore spend time on this. What is your own vision? What do you want? चाहते क्या हो? Spend a lot of time on this, and then you will be that will be your guiding beacon to decide which areas to focus on and which areas not to focus on.
Uh, Anand, it was easy for you to, I mean, I'm not trying to double guess you, but for some, it seems it was easy for you to understand what you really wanted. And when you,
May I interject you here for a second? I've spent more than 10,000 hours to do that.
but you decided it at some point, I think it becomes easier once you've decided and once you know what you want. Is there, we have a question from Nisha who's saying, with the constant urge to grow, what if one ends up being stressed? So, it comes back to you're saying, understand first thing first, second thing never. I think it's a fabulous mantra. But there are these many pulls and pressures, and there is this thing of, is there one thing I can focus on? Is that clarity of there is this one thing? In your case, it seems to have come easy that you were clear about what you want, the one thing you wanted to do. Uh, what if we are not very clear about what is that one thing that we want to do? What if there are simultaneously many, many pulls on our resources? There is some requirement of us at our job. There is some requirement of us at in our personal lives, in our relationships, uh, and we are expected, or we feel stressed, and therefore the need to grow, to meet that expectation of ourselves or the world in many areas. And we end up getting stressed. How do you tackle that? What if there is more than one thing? Is it even possible to grow in more than one thing at the same time? Or are you saying we'll have to choose one and then grow and devote 10,000 hours? Because we perhaps may not have 10,000 hours to devote on every single area that we want to grow in.
I think wonderful questions as always, and Nisha's question is very valid. First of all, I feel very pleased that you think it is very easy for me. I'm like a duck who is paddling furiously underneath the water, but what you see is an easy duck which is floating on the water very easily. So there's a lot of churning going underneath, and it has been going on for years and years and years. And therefore, I just want to mention that I'm no expert on this area. I'm just a fellow traveler. I'm sharing my journey, what I have learned, what I'm learning, and hopefully something will land and people will further do research, do further reflections, create their own inquiry, go on, uh, read the books, do the YouTube thing, ask Dr. Google all the questions. So it is just a basically highlighting what is possible. Now, first of all, when you say, is it possible to grow in many areas? Yes and no. Let me say yes and no. How? There is one exercise as coaches we do, we call it wheel of life.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine our life is like a wheel of a car tire, the wheel, and it has got spokes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume that one spoke represents health, second spoke represents money, third represents career, fourth relationship, fifth, family life, sixth could be spirituality. Whatever matters to you, you can imagine that and you can actually physically draw that. When I do the executive coaching or life
Sure.
coaching or professional coaching, this is the first exercise I ask people to do. That on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 is the center of the wheel and 10 is the diameter. So where do you stand on each of those wheels, spokes? So somebody says, my health is 8, my money is 2, and my relationship is 0, and my romantic relationship is 0, etc., etc. Or it could be the other way around. I have a
Right.
great love life, but career sucks. So
Sure.
everybody has to do a snapshot of their own life.
Sure.
This is just one tool I
Okay.
which is available. There are many tools which are
Sure.
available. This is one very
Let's work
important,
with this.
easy tool to available.
Agreed.
So draw a circle, put a point in the center
Got
of
it.
this thing, create the spikes, create what matters, and ask yourself. It is your self audit of your life. Let's say you think uh, my uh, just pick one. Help me here. Choose one, and then I can expand on that. Pick one, any area which is less and which one area which is more.
So I think my health is okay, money is all right, uh, career is good, uh, personal relationship could be better. Uh, so I could have a, I could say I'm on the average moderately satisfied in all areas of my life. Then
Excellent.
what?
Sorry, Anuradha, I didn't mean to ask you personally. I didn't want to put you on
No,
the spot.
I'm just trying to, no, I'm just, no, but I'm happy to offer, saying, I'm offering you an example of if, what if I'm moderately satisfied with all areas of my life? Then what?
Okay. Oh, that's a good challenge to have. If you're moderately satisfied, then you are moderately growing, and therefore the question is, are you happy with that? If you're happy with that, great. But in each of those areas, there is a possibility. For example, you mentioned, I'm not saying it is you, but it was just an
Sure,
example that the relationship, personal relationship could be better. So once you have a snapshot, you can see, you can visualize, you can. It's a matrix available to you, and somebody have said and totally believe anything you want to change, measure it. So this tool of wheel of life, it is your opportunity to measure where do you stand, and if imagine a wheel of a car, one of the spoke is loose at 3, and the other one is at 9. Would the tire move smoothly? Would the car move smoothly? No, because one area which is not working, it impacts the other area which is working as well. So therefore, you have a choice at the time to choose where do you want to focus at that time. You can create a roadmap. Okay, as an example, if my health is not robust, I'm not fit, I'm obese, then let me first focus on my health, because if the health is there, then everything else will fall in place. It is your choice.
so are you
And
still saying, Anand, sorry, are you still saying that when you take a snapshot and an audit of your life, you will still have to identify one area at a time that you'd want to grow in? Is that what you're saying?
not when you choose one area, at least one area you have chosen, and that is in your control, and then you will be surprised. You can choose one, two, but generally, as I said, first thing first, second thing never. First, it's like if the house is on fire, right? What do? You first put the house on fire. You extinguish the fire first, And
Right.
then you think which room will have what decoration, which is a medium to long term plan.
So I'm saying,
So therefore, you
mhm,
need to find out from that wheel of life which area is really shouting now, which area is shouting now to be addressed. And then you say, okay, now the fire has been extinguished in the short term, today, in the next 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. Now let me focus on how do I paint it better? Can I bring an interior designer to paint the house better or decorate it better, etc., etc.? These are just some of the metaphors which come to my mind readily. So that is the way you can choose. And again, we I assume that many of the viewers are professionals, and therefore they are aware of this Pareto principle, 20/80 principle, which was given by Italian economists. So use 20/80 principle. 20% of the things which make 80% of the impact. And don't sweat the small stuff. So don't get lost in triviality. Uh, I have a different system in my head apart from the Pareto's principle. I have the principle of gold, silver, bronze, and
mhm,
wood. I said, okay, which area I want to focus on? That is gold. So that is gold. I want gold. And also, there could be one area which is a diamond. So I have created my own distinctions in my head because having grown up in India, we all love gold, but and diamonds. So I say, okay, focus on the gold and the diamonds. What is urgent and important? The typical tools we have got: urgent, focus on what is urgent and important. Then you focus on what is important, and then you focus on other things. Do the ABC analysis. Because this is a different kind of conversation. I didn't want to bring the tools of management, which all of the viewers are aware of. So, but these are typical tools which are available: Pareto's principle, ABC analysis, gold, silver, bronze, wood, etc., etc. So use all those principles. What really hits you that okay, that area I want to focus now, but simultaneously maybe let me research some other area as well. And also, it is always a good idea to have some people, some support mechanism around your life. A friend who does not collude with you to say, yeah, 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 it's not your fault. You, it's all other people's fault. Uh, who say, yeah, keep blaming other people. But the one who says, take responsibility for your own learning and growth, because that's a very, very big thing. And have those friends, have a mentor, have a somebody who can challenge you back rather than who can simply say, yeah, yeah, I sympathize with you and collude. And generally, friends collude. So better is to go to an objective person outside of your very close friendship. I'm not saying all friends are like that, but generally tend friendship tend to empathize more and sympathize more. So have that support mechanism. And Nisha asked that question about stress. I'll talk about it a little later. I have not forgotten the question because, uh, but I just want to touch here and then possibly I'll come back to it later. When you have a support mechanism, your allies within the company or in your personal life, stress and anxiety goes down because you can talk, you can share, you can give them a safe space to challenge you. And when you get a safe, you give safe space to others to challenge you, then your growth starts. So that is one of the tools to have less stress. In fact, I should have maybe suggested one entire topic on managing stress, anxiety, upset at workplace. I've been there. I'm more than 40 years in different countries and east and west. I know what stress is, what anxiety is. That's a topic, humongous topic, and it may not happen today, But if we get an opportunity, we'll expand on it in detail. Maybe next session is on, uh, I think, growth can be fun. So possibly, I think I'll touch this topic that time, uh, because once you get rid of the stress and anxiety, uh, and how to do it and become resilient, then you open the floodgates of fun and pleasure and playfulness. I'll talk about it next time. I'll remember that. Nishad, thank you for asking that question.
So we come back to focus. Pick one thing, take an audit of your life, but you still have to pick one thing that you want to focus on now and grow in that and have a support system which can challenge you, which can with whom you can talk that brings the stress down, but push yourselves to grow in that one area that is crying for growth as per your own self. You're the best judge of where you need to grow.
Yes. Yeah.
You need to decide which area of your life you need to focus on and pick that one up and grow there. Choose to grow. And if you do it
Exactly.
without stress, you will find your inner resources. If you really badly want to do it, you will find the resources outside and within to understand how it is that you want to grow, that you will be able to grow. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. You have summarized it beautifully. And I bring the analogy again back of that fire. You can, if there is a problem with the foundation of the house, you can deal with it later. But you have to extinguish the fire now. And you could have a 1 week plan, 1 day plan, one 3 months plan, 6 months plan, 1 year plan. Uh, you can have a 5 year plan. Where would you be 5 years from now? So short term planning, medium term planning, and long term planning. So you have to strategize, create strategies, have bottomless strategies to do the prioritization, create a roadmap.
Anand, when you talk of strategy and roadmap, and it again sounds like work. It sounds like a lot of work that one doesn't want to do. It just brings the stress back up. We're talking about how is it that we get this. We do need to grow. We understand that we need to grow, but sometimes also, and then you've also introduced to us that if you really want to grow 10,000 hours, but you're talking about firefighting and extinguishing fires. That's not a 10,000. So are there different kinds of growth? Because in some you have to, you have to address what is urgent, and in some you have a long-term plan of gaining mastery.
Yes, you
Is
said
it
it.
different? Is it
Yeah,
different growth than we're talking of? Is Should we
exactly.
be vying for mastery? Let me ask you: should we be vying for mastery in every area of our life, or is that not possible?
I think mastery is a very loaded word. Uh,
I'm
and
talking about 10,000 hour kind
in
of
that
growth.
context, okay, yeah.
I'm saying you're saying this significant amount of energy and resources that you have to put in order to grow. If you're talking of that kind of growth, you've just given us a fabulous example. Now I'm saying we want to grow in many areas.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
so is it possible? Are we setting ourselves up for more stress by, should we give up that we are not going to be masters in every area?
again, I will come back to the word mastery. I will replace the word mastery with excellence,
Okay.
because mastery is as if the presupposition behind the mastery seems as if you do nothing else. No, Beatles did nothing else. They didn't live their life fully. They were not good business people. They were just playing music. No, they were the masters of the music. They are the absolute ultimate of the music. But also they lived normal lives. They had relationships. They focused on their health. They focused on public relationships. They became spiritual people. So it's not that while they were playing music, their spirituality was out of the window, or their charity work was not there. But at least one thing they said, okay, this is the area, this is who we are. They chose at least one area wherein they thought they are going to excel. And that is the distinction between and I think maybe in future we'll talk about this. I would rather focus on excellence rather than mastery, rather than perfection, because they can really create a lot of stress in our minds. And again, topic of stress is a different topic. We'll talk, but do the best that you can do on that day. Be the best version of yourself on that day. Uh, on that day, for example, when I wake up in the morning, first I recite Gayatri Mantra in my head. Then I ask, what do I want today? Who I want to be today? Not things to do, not things to do. That comes later. Who I want to be today. And I choose one thought in my mind today. I want to be compassionate. I want to be accepting of the people. And that kind of sets the mood of my day for that day. And setting the mood of the day, mood of the month, mood of the life is vital. We need to ask ourselves what mood of our life is overall.
Does it need to be the same every day? Do you pick the same? Who do you want to be today? Is the answer the same
It
every day?
depends
Or
on my mood. It depends on my mood, or depending upon what happened the previous day, what
we're
reflections
talking
I
about,
have.
I'm coming back to I want to grow in a certain area and I want to gain excellence. We've replaced the word mastery with excellence. I want to be excellent in an area that I have identified through a self
Yes.
audit process.
Yeah.
Now, every day, in order, do I have to be single minded? Do I have to focus on that every single day? Or do I allow it to happen? And I set the tone. This whole tone, I'm fascinated by this concept. Who do I want to be today? Is that in the context of the area that I have chosen I want to grow in?
There are two aspects to it. One is who do I want to be today? It is about not what, but it's about who. There's a
Right,
huge distinction between what am I going to do today? Secondly,
right,
who do I want to be today? So,
right.
first is be aware of these two distinctions.
Sure.
And once you know who I want to be today, then it is at the back of your mind that I want to be open. I want to create a space to learn whatever I have chosen to learn, whatever
Mhm.
I have chosen to develop myself into. You have that, your antenna is up all the time. Let's say you have chosen to become an expert in brand building as an example. Then your antenna, I want to become a great brand builder, or I want to be a master in data scientist as an example, or a software, or a painter, or a musician, or I want to, for example, I do know you do absolutely fantastic job work with animals. That is your thing. That is what you do. You don't have to think about it. You get up in the morning, you know I'm going to help some stray dogs or some other animals and rescue something, or I'll put some Facebook post. You do something there because it is always at the back of your mind because this is you. You have chosen that goes at your identity level. Beatles chose to become musician. It is their identity level. Who are they? Musicians. So,
Great.
so those beliefs have to go into your identity level, and that is the
Understood.
huge distinction there. What is your identity?
Got you.
Not outer identity. I have more houses and I have more millions and
Understood.
more billions. Inner self. Who are you?
Got you.
Thank you.
Anand, we're running out of time. I won't summarize because I think I've already done it uh, prior. But fabulous, lots of insights, lots of more questions, lots of curiosity to learn more. Before we go, I'm going to ask you for today's growth hack. Is there something apart from everything that you've told us? Is there one thing that you would like to leave us with? Would you like us to leave us with a growth hack today?
Have fun.
And that's a growth hack.
That's a growth hack
Super.
because don't take yourself and others too seriously. Have fun. Children have
Uh,
fun. And when we have fun, we feel psychologically safe. And when we feel psychologically safe, emotionally safe, we learn the best. And
Perfect.
there's no better way. And there is a poster I think I can see on the back of your wall. It says smile. I think I can
Right.
see two words, SM. I think because I know it was there before.
Yes,
Smile.
it is
Yeah,
smile.
smile. So smile, have fun. That is a growth hack. Yeah,
Great. That brings us to the end of today's session. 45 minutes of absolutely beautiful thoughts, self inquiry, lots of food for thought. I'm very curious to learn more with you and go on this growth journey with you. Just to remind our viewers that our session for next time is growth can be fun. I think a lot of our a lot of our questions from our viewers are also about if you can help us address the stress bit that gets associated with growth. So that's what's going to be our next session. We're going to be joined by another very special guest on the show along with Anand. So I look forward to having you all join us again next Wednesday. Till then, have a very good weekend. Keep the faith, keep growing, and have fun. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anand.
excellent. Thank you, everybody, and have fun during this weekend. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.